So something I'm just going to briefly point out. This is maybe interesting, maybe not. I don't know. So the last several months, I've been basically garbage picking, bottle picking, just for the. That's my sole income. I'm not on government assistance. I'm not employed. The last time I was employed, the employer underpaid me for the amount of back-breaking work I was putting in. A few weeks ago, I was assaulted. I picked a fight. Ended up going against one of the biggest guys I ever seen in my entire life, and I got two fractured ribs that I'm actually healing. I'm recovering. I'm okay. I just wanted to point out something. These were empty when I found them. Okay, not just this and this. Okay, I don't have the whole collection. I got one that's burning. So what I do is I go to gas stations and I bottle pick. But whenever, on occasion, I'll check the little blue bin that's got all the plastics, and I look for oil. I ended up pulling three of these out of a garbage can, empty, right? Where I just poured the residual. I took the, I give them a shake, and you can tell there's a little bit of residual oil in it. And the big 4 and 5 liter or the gallon size ones too, right? I sometimes peek in them and look, and I see, oh, there's oil in the bottom, and I sit there and just painstakingly, patiently let it drip out, and then sometimes I'll save the containers to bring back, and I have this one is about a third full, and this is pretty much full, like almost like if you buy this, if you're buying this from the store, right? One of these nowadays, this is Canada, our prices are different. What costs you $1.50 to $3 in the United States costs us, little bottle like this can cost up to close to $10, right? In some places. Now I'm in a big major city where everything's easily accessible, but if you live up north where there's all your fuel surcharges and all your trucking transport fees and everything that gets your stuff brought up there, all your inventory and stock brought to you, you're paying dearly. I can remember a time when in my hometown, I think a jug of milk, a gallon of milk used to be like $3.99 kind of a price. And I remember one time 3 hours north to another little town, and the same jug of milk I think was costing them almost $12, $10, $12 or something like that. I almost quadrupled the price, triple or quadruple the price, $9 or something like that. So again, so I have varieties of these motor oils that I found, and the majority of them are all this really light 530, and I don't use this in my own engine unless just a little bit needed, but not necessarily. And I find a variety of stuff, transmission fluids. Now, used oil, I I can find it. There's places I can go to where I can literally walk out with anywhere from just gallons of it at a time, or I can walk out with an entire pail of used oil. And I've been doing little experiments in the previous years using the wood stove to as an oil burner, but not in a very conventional method. So I don't have a tank or a reservoir that drip feeds into the wood stove. I didn't want it set up like that. Instead, all I'm using are basically like little tuna fish cans or something slightly bigger, even sometimes a cat food can or something like that. And I'll fill it with oil or a partial amount, and then I'll just drop a couple little sticks of kindling into it or on it, and then light it. And then it gets to a point where once it gets to a high temperature, this is where they talk about, like oil fires on a stove, right? So the deep fryer or having to say like a big pot like that full of cooking oil, right? I don't do that in here. This space is way too small to have an oil flare up at the risk of propane cylinders and other fuel type things all throughout the RV, and a huge potential for property damage, loss of life, injuries, and so on and so forth. And I mean, literally like a powder keg, and it just ain't worth it. So I don't deep fry anything in here ever. I have a little barbecue. I can take it outside, and if I want to go pyro safely, I can do it outside, no problem. So, anyways, again with my oil collection, this is also good for the bikes. So I just recently bought 2 bikes to replace one. A few months back. Okay, so backtrack. Okay, so back in August, bike got stolen, and I got mad. Absolutely fucking mad. No two ways about it. It ain't pussyfooting. I got fucking mad. I completely raged. I took it out on friends. I pushed friends out of my life. Certain friends, certain people. I've excommunicated people now for X number of years, and I've gone fucking anti-Albertan. Fuck you, Calgary. Fuck you, Alberta. And I'm still fucking stuck here because I can't afford to get home. Right? And so I'm just staking it out, doing what I got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. Going back to my hometown is not a happy reunion for me. There's some fucking problems that got to be fucking fixed the bad way, in the worst way possible. And that's the only reason why I'm holding off. Because that can lead to a whole string of other problems that I don't want to get into yet. But anyways, back to my little oil recycling. So, use it on the bike chains, use it in a chainsaw, use it in 2-stroke motors, use it in a whole number of things. And there's no big complication to it. Oil is oil. And so everywhere I go, people drive cars. I drive as well. But right now my plate's expired and I'm not going anywhere except on a bike or walking. And anyways, I've collected and collected and collected to where, you know, I have another oil bottle put away that's full or unopened. There was one time where a little local shop either relocated or closed down, or their lease expired where they were, and they moved out, but they left a whole bunch of stuff right behind a garbage bin across the street from where they moved out from, but it was left out. And I just happened to pass by on the bike and look and went, whoa, oh, neat, oh wow, oh shit. Some of it was really old, like the containers, the labels, old, like from the 80s or 90s, like stuff that was in there maybe 25, 30 years at least. And I was like, wow, and it opened it up, it was perfectly good, it was unused oil. So I grabbed that. It's stashed in one of my bottom outside compartments. But I also find antifreeze and, you know, different automotive stuff I need for my engine. I got to change water pump. Bought the water pump last spring while I was in that underpaid job. I freaking scraped together $100 and got another water pump. And yeah, there's plastic burning inside the wood stove. Now somebody was, oh, plastic's toxic and so is fuel emissions. Plastic's an oil product. The only reason the reason why there's all this grouch about not burning plastics is because there are certain toxicities. But those of you running diesel engines with the black smoke coming out the smokestack, you're not killing the ozone layer. That black carbon only goes 20 feet in the air and then it just drops back to the ground. And of course, anybody who's walking or driving near it, you know, the reason why now we have cabin air filters in our vehicles. Hey, this is a 1979. Cabin air filters were non-existent back then, but there was a little air intake opening with a wire mesh inside of it to keep the rodents and birds out. And it had just a little bit of a metal lip right around it, and so I just took a little bit of I think it was a PL, one of the PL adhesives out of the caulking gun, and I managed to make just a really light bead, and then stuck a face mask over it. One of those healthcare grade or healthcare rated face masks, right? Popped this. I pulled the little stretchy strings off of it, so it was just a little mask, and I just glued it right over my air intake on my for my front heater. My furnace in this is old, and the last time I got into spending the big bucks on a brand new furnace that was supposed to be a warranty and everything else, brand new out of the box, I got screwed by the RV dealership because it was off season. My furnace quit on me in December, and instead of under warranty or honoring the warranty on their end, I ended up just, well, I got to get parts. So I said, well, I'm going to need a limit switch and I'm going to need a sail switch. So it's always one or the other of those little parts. Later on, a main board, right? The main board soaked me for around 250 at the time, 250, 260, and well worth it, actually. And somebody else was warning me ahead of time when I bought the furnace. Oh, you better have gotten that main board. Oh yeah, just get that main board and put it in your cupboard. Oh, I guarantee you, within weeks, you're going to be needing it. Winter's kicking in, right? And once your furnace is cycling off and on practically like every 5-10 minutes, right? Eventually, the main board in those Suburban furnaces, when you buy them straight out of the box, when you take it straight out of the box and install it, the main board just like that. They're good in the summertime. Hell, I had a 16,000 BTU little furnace in my cargo van, and it was the NT16 or the NT20. There was a 20,000 BTU. There was two of them, identical. It's just like the 318 and the 360 side by side, identical, right? And but the main board never quit in that one. And that was also, I bought that back in 2007. So maybe the parts quality were still better at the time. When I took the Suburban board and the Dinosaur, the aftermarket board, side by side comparison, I discovered that, oh yeah, the Suburban board had just a lot of Chinesium parts in there. All the real little relays and the little square things, and it all said made in China. And I was like, whoa. And then I looked at the Dinosaur board, and I think it was they're supposedly manufactured in the US, but a lot of the semiconductor silicon parts on there, right? And all the little square pieces and the microchips, they were coming from various countries, the Philippines, some of them from like Taiwan or Thailand, and like, and didn't really see much of any kind of China garbage on there, honestly, right? So anyways, this has been a longer video than I expected, but I see I got a certain amount of time I can keep doing this. I deleted a 15-minute long music video of one of my hacksaw jams. I'm still practicing. Now I noticed if I'm just freestyling the hacksaw with the bottleneck, with the slide, I'm like a bird, free as can be, away I go. But the minute I hit the record button, all of a sudden I'm playing musician, director, and cameraman all at the same time, and I find myself getting really hesitant and really choppy and sloppy in my playing method. Now don't get me wrong. When I first picked up this hacksaw and suddenly started to ting 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 on it in the acoustic version, I wasn't aspiring to be the best or the worst. It didn't matter. I said, either take your pick. Take your pick. I'm the first person who reinvented the light bulb, basically, and I got this thing where all of a sudden I just start jamming on it, and I'm not trying to get good at it, but I am. I'm one of the best, and I'm the only one, the first one on planet fucking Dirt, right? Playing this thing, and it barely costed me shit to fucking make it. So, but anyways, I'm gonna have a 420.